freaking no. Continue. This post courtesy of a account called A View from the Bridge. That they do these really cool things where like essentially it's like a hot take thing. So similar to that guy in New York that has a interview that says, "Yeah, what's your hot take?" In this particular one, they film you from afar from a bridge somewhere, and they give you a phone, and you basically say your hot take over the phone.
Bro, people are always complaining about people not dancing in parties, but there's like 4K cameras, analog cameras.
You know what's really weird, interesting about this? Maybe it's a beat, or maybe it's the way he looks. Doesn't he kind of sound like President T? Kilo Kali. Word on road. No, he kind of sounds a little bit like President T when he's speaking. Maybe it's just me, but he sounds a bit like President T.
Ones from the ceiling coming down, drones and all sorts. Like, you can't relax, man. It feels like you're being like surveillance. Like, and even if everyone individually is pulling out phones. And I feel like us as an audience, ravers, people that go to concerts, people that are just out watching football, man, the moment of pulling out the phone and recording someone just vibing needs to stop, man. Allow people, man. Don't ever post someone without their consent, man. I feel like this is like one of the biggest disrespects in culture now, man. You know what? Everyone having their phones out in a room, it doesn't just take you out of the room there and then. It makes people like on edge in a way that I've just never like really experienced before, you know what I'm saying? It feels like you're under CCTV, like 1,000 CCTVs at once. Like, why would you wanna break form? Why would you wanna dance in a crazy way? Why would you wanna go and talk to that person? You don't wanna like be rejected. You don't wanna be put online the next day. So it changes people's behavior, man. It changes the way people dress, bro. People don't think about all these people that wanna go to raves, but it's £30 and then they gotta have drip and then they gotta get this and this, that, another thing. And then at the same time, you have to look cool, stand in a certain way, look a certain way, have your hair cut. No, this is mad, bro. And I don't like it. As much as I think documenting is popular, I also think we need spaces and time and place for things to be undocumented and people just live in the moment. I guess the culture going forward needs to have some sort of balance between cameras everywhere, recordings everywhere, pictures everywhere, and nothing. We need spaces without the camera.
Yeah, like he makes a lot of good points. He really does make a lot of good points, but let's be real. Let's be real. This isn't going to ever change. The horses have already been bolted. There's no way you can ever rewind this. There's no way you can ever go back to an era where cameras are not prevalent in certain places. And also, just from a purely promoter side of view things, I understand why the cameras and all that sort of stuff become prevalent, because you need to be able to sell your product to people. You need to be able to make that, make it an appealing place for people to go to and to sell your tickets. And with the level of competition that exists nowadays, from January to December, it seems like there is no festival season. The festival season is just every year. Every single year, new festivals are popping up all around the world with incredible lineups, with great programming. Nowadays, probably, if you're smart, you can probably figure out a way to like program your rave via chat GPT and shit. You probably don't even need to like be clocked in with who's coming up and who's not coming up. But nowadays, you can probably find a lot of the new artists way easier than you did before. All the hyped ones are way easier to find now than ever before. So the prevalence of like really good festivals and raves and shit is crazy. There's too many options, probably too many for people to ever go to, myself included. I deem myself to be like a techno tourist, and even I can't go to everything that I want to go to. Sometimes money is low, sometimes it's just too much to go to and you can't physically go to every event. So the ones that are trying to push themselves online, I understand why they're using pictures and videos to do so, because you want to rope people in, you want to attract fans, you want to attract artists, you want to attract sponsors. It makes complete sense. So nowadays, I don't think that's ever going to go back. And I think for the people that go, being able to go somewhere like that and have a cool outfit on, and be able to have it documented, be able to share those pictures and be able to share on your feed that you do way more than just take selfies of yourself, and that you actually go to cool places and you have cool hobbies and cool interests, is also something that people are fond of. Me personally, I'm not. I don't really post anything about my raving and I don't post anything of me actually at the raves. I talk about it after the fact, but I'm also not the conventional person that goes out. Most people go out in the hopes of documenting something, in the hopes of getting an image, getting a clip, whether it's a sound clip they're going to share on their profile, whether it's something that they're going to put on their timeline, whether it's something that they're going to put on their fucking story. They want some evidence of it. They, for them, it doesn't exist. It didn't happen if there's no pictures to share. And, I'm not like that, but most people are like that. So you're never ever going to get people not having that point of view or not being like that. So I think we just have to deal with the situation as is. I'm a big believer in dealing with the world as is, in terms of helping it to be a world, in the figment of your imagination. So I think the only way to go forward for this sort of thing is to have certain places where those sort of things aren't allowed, and if it to be a strict thing across the board. Personally, that's what I think you should do. For instance, Fold's a good example. Fold, although they have a no photo policy, they still sometimes post pictures on their platform of the club in the inside. I think that kind of sends a wrong message, personally, and I think it's kind of hard to say you can't take pictures in a club when you yourself take pictures in a club. I think a lot of people do that. I think even Adonis do that, right? I think Adonis do that, where we have our own photographer who's going to take pictures, but you can't take pictures. That doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? Like, I get it because you want to only put out a certain type of like quality of picture out there. Maybe you want to make sure that everyone that's taking the pictures of somebody is asking consent, because the photographer has to probably do that. But I think if you're going to have the no photo policy, no video policy, have it applied across the board, and then have the club, have the experience, have the ambience, have the vibes be sold and promoted by word of mouth from people online, event reviews, you know, clips on fucking YouTube of me reviewing or other people reviewing it, like that sort of thing. That's the way to go. But I think people are scared of doing that because it's obviously you're cutting out a huge chunk of people. You're missing out on it. But I never understood that clubs that do that. So I think the clubs that are really strict about the no photo policy, like the Burguides and stuff, they need to be championed, and they also need to be promoted. No, promoted. They need to be championed, and that sort of approach doesn't need to be questioned. I feel like I heard way more people nowadays going out of their way to kind of really be upset about Burguide's no photo policy and shit, and, you know, basically kick up a fuss about it. But I think we need to make sure that the scene has like a range, has options. So if you want to go somewhere where it's kind of lit up and produced and designed in a way that promotes people to share online, like for instance, they've got certain images or they've got certain LED displays on stage that are shaped in a particular portrait fashion or in a square fashion that actually allows you to share it on social media easier. There's LEDs that shine at particular locations to make sure that everything that you shoot is brightly lit. Cool, go there and do that. But if you want to go somewhere where that's not the case and some of those sort of senses, some of those sort of actions are taken away from you, go there also. But I feel like applying the rules of like underground raves or places that don't have photo policies to places that are a bit more commercial are unfair. My example being that girl that went viral. That girl that went viral recently at the show, at the Kind of Music show, right? I think I've showed you guys recently before. I don't have a problem with this personally because I think this is very specific to people that go to like Kind of Music and me events. In my opinion, I think this sort of thing should be able to exist. So me personally, I have no issue with this because I feel like this is very specific to that particular crowd or people that like ambient house, that like tech house, that like melodic house, deep house, that particular brand of house music in Ibiza, Miami, Greece, wherever they are, that is specific to what they do. Phones everywhere, lights everywhere, everybody on stage, the stage is a VIP room, hot girls, hot guys, cool, enjoy yourself. But I think guys who go to places that don't have photo policies and are strict about that sort of stuff, getting angry at this and applying their standards, their preferences to places like this is unfair. In the same way that people that go to these sort of raves expected to go to Burgoyne and record their whole experience from the door to the dance floor is also a bit dumb and a little bit unfair. I think everything should be able to coexist. Problem is, there's more of a push for these type of locations. There doesn't seem to be a push for places where they kind of, you know, focus more on the music, they focus more on the sound, they focus more on the community, blah, 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 blah. It's mostly this kind of commercial, whatever aspect of culture, of the dance music scene or whatever it is. I just want it to be options. I want it to be options. I don't want it to all be one thing. I don't want all the festivals, all the raves to appear one way. There should be different options they can go to. And the fans, the customers can choose what they want. But this idea that we're going to go to a place where cameras aren't going to be a thing anymore in clubs and we need to kind of, we need to kind of stop that across the board ain't going to happen. We have spaces, we have clubs already that do that. We have promoters who are very strict on a no photo policy thing. We have clubs that do the no photo policy thing. Go there if you want that sort of thing. But other places, that ain't going to happen. It just isn't going to happen because of the way music is at the moment, the way spaces are at the moment, the way promoters have to sell their parties, get sponsors, whatever, all this sort of stuff. It just isn't likely. I don't expect anytime soon for Space Miami to ever implement a no photo policy thing. It just doesn't work for what they do. Part of the allure, or even Pasha, all these places, part of the allure of those places is because of those videos that you saw online. I remember back in the day when I was first getting into the scene, I'd go on YouTube and I'd be searching for like Ricardo Villalobos, Sven Var, I don't know, Jamie Jones or Jamie XX, Seth Troxler. I'd be searching for videos on them. I'd basically go on RA, I'd check what they played, and I'd go on YouTube, write the name of where they played, and sort by recently added. And you see all these videos from people uploading. Oh, I need a tune ID. Here's the vibe. Here's the whatever. Even at festival, Sunwaves in Romania. The whole reason why I think Sunwaves has become like an institution and a real legacy place to kind of go to. Number one, because they book a lot of great artists and great DJs, but also because of those videos. We see those fucking videos of people underneath that fucking amazing orange and red tent, and we kind of get pulled by it, and we want to go. Same thing happens to that festival Kappa Futures or whatever it's called, somewhere in Italy. That whole thing as well has been pushed mainly because of the videos and pictures that we've seen. Other things, not so much. But I think those type of places, it's almost impossible to say that, oh, no photos needed in those type of places, because the photos and the videos kind of add to their legend. They add to the ambience. They add to the fucking vibes. They add to everything that's going on in the whole experience. So we used to have places where there are no videos and cameras, and places where you can enjoy that sort of thing, and you go, but don't expect either place to sort of add or intrude the rules of other places. It doesn't make any sort of sense, in my personal opinion. But again, I could be wrong.